Hello everyone and welcome to the video on hard drives. And today's goal is to do an in-depth study of hard drives. So we'll be talking about the topics along the lines of what are computer hard drives, what are the different types of hard drives, and how to choose the best hard drive for your build. So let's start off with what are hard drives. And I want you to recall that hard drives are big storage that are meant for long-term use. And its main function is to store our data. We store things like operating system, software, document, music, videos, and pictures, and so much more into our hard drives. Also, unlike RAM, hard drives are non-volatile memory, as in we can shut off your computer, unplug it, and it will still retain all this information and all this data within its drive. So one of the big factors of getting a hard drive is the storage side, and which is measured in bytes. And I want you to recall that bytes are a unit of digital information composed of usually 8 bits. And to talk about storage size, we can talk about these four metrics right here. One kilobyte or 1 KB is 1,000 bytes, 1 megabyte is 1 million bytes, 1 gigabyte is 1 billion bytes, and 1 terabyte is 1 trillion bytes. So to really talk about hard drives, we are going to look at the two main types of hard drives that we can find for our computer, which is the hard disk drive and solid state drive. Hard disk drive is a memory that writes data onto disk within the component via magnets. The differences between a hard disk drive and a solid state is that it's cheaper, usually larger in terms of storage, and stable with the little asterisk. Before I talk about the little asterisk, let's talk about solid state drive. Solid state drive is a flash type memory that electronically adds or removes data to a chip. The difference is that it's more expensive, but it's much faster for reading and writing data, and it's less stable with an asterisk and physically smaller. Now to talk about the asterisk, as the technology continuously improves for solid state drives, the stability of solid state drives are actually getting a lot better, so they last quite longer than they used to before, and the prices of solid state drives are actually going down as this technology continuously improves. So given more time, and actually solid state drives might reach a point or be even cheaper than hard disk drives in the future. Hard drive have different form factors and interfaces as well. So they come in different physical sizes, where you can have a 2.5 inch, which is considered the small form factor, SSF, or the 3.5 inch, large form factors. And this really depends on what kind of hard drive disk drive or hard drive bays you have on your case. They might support 2.5 inch form factors or 3.5 inch factors. And they also have different interface, as in connectors. They have SATA ports. We also have serial attached CSIs, which is called the SAS. And there are also SSD specific connectors as well, which we'll talk about later on. Next, we also want to look at read and write speeds of hard drive, because this will help us to choose a hard drive. So reading means a computer retrieving information from a drive or from memory, or writing means a computer storing information to memory. Hard disk drives and solid state drives are measured a little differently, because hard disk drive contains moving parts where there's a spinning disk and we're using magnets to write disks. Whereas solid state, we're using the speed of electricity or the power of electricity to flash and write and store data into our solid state. So hard disk drive speed. An HDD will contain magnetic disks that rotate for read and write, and it's measured in RPM, which stands for revolutions per minute. So faster the rotation, the faster we're able to do read and write with our drive. Solid states, and however, there are no moving parts, so it is measured in bytes per second. How many bytes per second can we write on or read from a solid state? So higher bytes per second we have, the faster we can read and write from a solid state drive. So we talked about speed and the form factors of hard drives, so let's talk about how to choose a hard drive. So these are the factors that you want to consider. So storage side, how much data space do you need for all your stuff? So if you have lots of files and a big operating system, you might actually require a big drive, which either you get a very, very expensive solid state drive, or you can go on the cheaper end and buy a hard disk drive. Speed-wise, how fast do you want to be able to read and write data? Disk drives are often much slower compared to a solid-state drive because of the moving components. So if speed is not a biggest concern for you, you can actually just go for a hard disk drive. But if you want to boot up your computer in a matter of seconds, solid state drive is the way to go. Then you look at the consideration between storage size and speed. Do you choose to get a hard disk drive or a solid state drive? Do you care about speed more than storage size and you really want to go to get a solid state drive? Or do you want more storage and you can get hard disk drives? But in most cases, when you build a computer, you can get a combination of both. And next, you can talk about brands. You can consider and research what brands make the best hard drives at the time that you're buying your hard drives. We're gonna now do a little expansive study on solid state drives because they are the most popular forms of hard drives at the moment. So solid state drives have different interfaces that affect the physical form of our drives. So some solid state drives are much like their counterpart hard disk drives where they use the SATA cables. It's wire based and we expect a speed of 600 megabytes per second. Now we're starting to develop solid state drives that are actually installed into our expansion slot, which are called the PCIe slots. And so instead of using a wire-based cable, we're actually just putting it right into our motherboard. So we're expecting the speeds of 985 megabytes per second. So it is much faster than a SATA 3 connection. And then we have the M.2 and the U.2, these are all supported by everything. It can be PCIe slots, SATA slots, and USB connections. Also use a mini slots for like micro SATA or mini PCI expansion slots for laptops. And speeds will really be dependent on the connection. And in the future, M.2 and U.2 interfaces will probably be more common later on. So today, our goal was to do an in-depth study of hard drives, and we talked about what are computer hard drives and what are the different types of hard drives, looking at the form factors and the connection interfaces that these hard drives offer. And we talked about how to choose the best hard drive for your build. Thank you for watching. Stay classy.